Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some breaking news out of Doswell, Virginia, where King's Dominion is back on the teaser campaign. So we've missed a couple of them here. Well, we knew about them, but we just haven't had the time to do videos on them. So,
and quite frankly, that hasn't given much to go off of. So there's been 3 or 4 now, so we're going to talk about.
We'll talk them on collectively. So we have 3. They have posted 3 separate sets of coordinates that, if you look at them and put them into Google Maps, the closest things you can find that might be of note to these coordinates. The first one is the Temple of Chichen Itza, which was a Mayan temple. And then you have an area in Malaysia, which probably is the Snake Temple. And then you have the last one is an archaeological site in Pompeii. So all 3 of these kind of like referencing back to ancient ruined places. So the question, and there's the 4th one was just a guy walking through grass with maybe cicadas in the background, maybe rattlesnakes in the background. It was hard to tell what was in the background, but it's just a pair of boots, a guy in a pair, or a woman in a pair of boots, who knows, walking through grass. So like you said, not a whole lot to go off on here. And the question is, are they teasing the SNS Free Fly that we already know is there? Because there's an SNS Free Fly sitting in the parking lot that we know is there. So are they teasing that? Or is there more going on here? What do you think?
Well, certainly the Free Fly is part of it. That doesn't seem to say like snake to me. So I don't know.
Well, the track is green.
It is,
and
but
it looks like a snake.
Well, aren't the supports painted like bamboo?
Yes, the supports look awesome, and they look
okay. So I don't know. Maybe the ride type doesn't scream snake. I mean, the paint job certainly does. I don't know. I think there's a couple possibilities here. Yeah, I mean, could this all be for the Free Fly and I guess a potential retheme of that area? Yeah. I mean, currently it's Congo, or at least when Volcano was there, it was the Congo. It's there's kind of not much there right now. Avalanche is closed. I think one thing that's almost a foregone conclusion, especially with Avalanche being closed this year, is it is closed this year, right? Or at least I thought they announced that it was supposed to be closed this year. The fact that they closed Avalanche for this year, and I think made a point to say it's coming back next year, I think a rename and a retheme of Avalanche is pretty much has to be a foregone conclusion. That gives you an opportunity to create some synergy in that area and do like a complete retheme. I think maybe you could do, I mean, Avalanche just screams snake-themed roller coaster, right? So I think you could do something snake-themed. Anaconda is kind of there already, but like, we know that Cedar Fair has been taking out some older rides. I mean, Vortex just went away, which I would argue Vortex was more iconic for Kings Island than Anaconda is for Kings Dominion. Kings Dominion already took out their iconic roller coaster. So, I mean, could Anaconda be going away? And I mean, again, another page out of the Kings Island book, they used to have a ride called the Bat, and now they have a different ride that's now called the Bat. Could we see the Arrow Anaconda come out and see Avalanche be renamed Anaconda and be given a snake theme to better fit into that area? And then we get the Free Fly, which is called something else. And then maybe get another ride in there, whether it be the year after. Or could they be doing a huge teaser campaign, and each one of these coordinates has to do with a specific attraction that's coming in, and they're just redoing the whole area? I think there's a couple different ways this could go. We know the Free Fly is part of it somewhere, and I think it's safe to assume that something with Avalanche is another piece of it. The question is there more?
Well, and that's the thing. So if you want to tie the coordinates to specific attractions, Chichen Itza, with that, we all think that the Free Fly is basically going in the space of the old crypt ride. So
right.
Chichen Itza would kind of match up with that, because you already have some of those like temple-like statues. Now it's not the same area, but I think you're going to get an overlay in this area that's like a lost temple, lost civilization type.
Yeah, and I mean the crypt would fall in line with a temple type.
Yeah, so I think you could maybe say, well, maybe that's going to be that theme, and the snake temple theme could go with Avalanche, and then where Volcano was, you have Pompeii now, which was a volcano, right? So, so it would make sense that they could be teasing 2 new roller coasters, because we also heard that rumor forever ago at this point of the new wing coaster going into King's Dominion, that a lot of people thought that they were going to announce the Free Fly and a new wing coaster to kind of make up for all the lost roller coasters in the last few years, especially with the loss of Volcano, to try and build up that, roller coaster roster again, that they were going to throw in the Free Fly and a wing coaster. So them putting in 2 coasters in this area in 1 year may not be out of the realm of possibility here. I'm not going to say that it's crazy.
Well, especially if they do potentially take out an Anaconda type ride.
Wow, if they took out another ride, but the Aero Loop, I don't know, they took out Vortex. So would you need to take out another ride? Like there's no real reason, unless there's a maintenance nightmare going on that Aero Looper, that you
I'm going off of the same reasoning. They took out Firehawk and then also took out Vortex, and then we got Orion. True. So I'm like, you took out Volcano, which supposedly was a maintenance nightmare and a capacity problem, just like Firehawk. There was nothing actually wrong with the ride. And then you take out a ride that's actually really, really old and actually really, really bad, like Vortex and or Anaconda. This almost mirrors what Kings Island has done the last couple of years to a T, if you really want to get down into it.
And Kings Island, it kind of does. So, it begs the question of, so do you think they're going to put in 2 rides then? Is that what you're coming down to?
Well, considering how cheap the Free Fly ought to be at this point, with how many of those that have been made, I think you could do a medium-sized wing coaster like the original thought was that the wing coaster that Kings Dominion would get would be a near clone of the Hot Go model, right? Yeah. Which is medium-sized. It's not a Gatekeeper. I don't even know if it's a Wild Eagle. It's certainly more of like an X-Flight Flug der Dämonen sized ride. So you could do something like that and throw in another Free Fly and redo the whole area, retheme of Avalanche. And that's probably on the scale of like a Fury 325 project where you also do the front gate, or a Gatekeeper project where you also do the front gate, and just retheme that whole area. And again, this would fall in line with a lot of what we've seen Cedar Fair do over the last couple of years. I mean, Copperhead Strike, they redid that area a little bit. Kings Island, Orion. I mean, we've heard Rob Decker and other folks from Cedar Fair say this. When they put in a new attraction now, they're looking at what else they can do in the surrounding areas to revitalize a particular area. Banshee, they redid that area. They made Flight Deck. They sort of revitalized that area. They gave Vertigo the Stinger trains now. They redid that whole area there. Fury 325, they redid the front gate. Gatekeeper, they redid the front gate. King's Dominion, they redid Candy Apple Grove, right before they did Twisted Timbers, and then they had Twisted Timbers, and then they painted the Wild Mouse to be Apple's Apple, so they redid that whole area. So I think there's plenty of examples. Even Knott's Berry Farm, they did the Ghost Rider refurb, and they redid all of Ghost Town, right? They redid the River Rapids rides. There are examples all over the chain of, sections of the park being revitalized. Even the boardwalk, when they did Voyage to the Iron Reef and Coast Rider, they did that ride package at Knott's Berry Farm as well. So I think doing a cheap coaster, and who's to say that this wasn't a plan where the Free Fly was supposed to be 2021, the wing coaster was supposed to be 2022, and now they're just going to do it all together for 1 year because COVID has sort of forced the hand there. I don't think that's out of the question.
And I've also, the other rumor is that the Free Fly is not a full-size Free Fly that you've seen at Six Flags. That's actually a smaller version of that. So that it was going to be basically a replacement for the crypt that you flip upside down on the crypt, and you're going to.
Well, it's basically the crypt on a track, right?
Basically, is what that is. So, like, you're already installing something that's probably cheaper than what the Six Flags parks put in. So, putting in a small, you don't have to pay for the design fees if you are cloning. I'm not thrilled about the idea of cloning a ride, a wing coaster from somewhere else, but
at least it's a wing coaster from China that they're cloning.
Yeah, that you've never ridden before. So, you're going to save money on the design fees there too. So all the rumors, smaller free fly, cloned wing coaster, all the rumors say that this is a very real possibility that maybe for $20 to $25 million, you get 2 coasters into your park to kind of make up for all the stuff you've been removing.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very plausible. And let's not forget, I mean, they removed Shockwave a couple years ago and put in the pendulum ride there. I mean, I don't even think you need to take out Anaconda to make this make sense. I wouldn't be surprised or shocked if they took out an Anaconda, because we've seen those types of rides go away. And Anaconda is far and away probably the worst coaster there.
Like, could you actually extend that Congo area to actually include Anaconda? Is it already technically in the Congo?
Technically it already is, but I mean, maybe you could do a little bit more there. Right? I mean, technically Backlot is in the Congo because it's next to Anaconda, right?
Yeah. If you wanted to, you could put Flight of Fear in there too and say that the aliens crashed in the forest. Why not, right?
That's what it is. The aliens took Volcano away.
It did. So, it's hard. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to go off on besides what basic theming would be, or maybe they're trying to point out the areas that we're talking about here. But it stands to reason that putting in 2 roller coasters into King's Dominion, a park that I think desperately needs more things to do, especially having lost Volcano, having lost the Crypt,
because Volcano is not only one less roller coaster in that park, it's a roller coaster that you spend an hour waiting for that's now gone from that park.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know about a smaller free fly, but those free flies, I just went with some of the COASTER-net guys over to Great America, and we rode Joker, and we had an absolute blast on that ride. They're
fun rides.
They're fun rides. If you can get that thing spinning and you get the right side that has the more spin on it, those things are really out of control fun. And then a wing coaster is a wing coaster. It's another good addition, So depending on
wouldn't it be cool if they resurrected the King Cobra name that King's Dominion and King's Island both had?
Why not?
That'd be great.
Why not? Right? Why not? And
cool.
it wouldn't surprise me if they did that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because they did it with the bat at King's Island, and that was kind of like, hey, let's make fun of, we're gonna have a bat wing coaster, and then they announced they did the whole fake website and everything, and then
let's go back to our roots a little bit, right? So you can have Anaconda, you can have King Cobra, you can have whatever the hell you're gonna call, you're gonna call I guess maybe you could call it King Cobra, your free fly, maybe call that something else. Then you have a bird themed wing coaster, I guess.
Or do you have all snake themed roller coasters? Do you call the free fly a snake themed? Do you recall it? Then you have Anaconda. Then you have the Avalanche be a different snake. You have all different snake themes going on.
It would be cool. Why couldn't the free fly be like rattlesnake themed, and like the cars are like the rattlers?
They could be. It could be the rattlesnake sound in there. Then also some people said that, I don't know, when you start looking at the Mayan myths and stuff, Chichen Itza, you have Quetzalcoatl, who was a giant bird. So maybe they're going to do like, a fiery bird or like a phoenix or something and put that on the wing coaster. They could do that.
Well, there's certainly precedent for naming a wing coaster after a phoenix.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to have a wing coaster be a snake, though, would it?
No, not that I can see. I mean, but I mean, we've seen plenty of examples of what could be done as far as wing coasters and birds go. We've seen like Gatekeeper with the Griffin Guardian type bird. We've seen Phoenix over in Toverland. We've seen the parrots at the Parrot Coaster over in China. So I mean, there's lots of options.
Yeah. So hopefully Kings Dominion will continue posting some teasers here and give us some more ideas of what's going on here. But once again, an exciting time that after having very little to be excited about with theme parks and new rides and new announcements and new teasers, all of a sudden we're back right into it, Danny.
I know, it's exciting. It's good to finally be thinking about some new rides that haven't been standing for 2 years and still not open.
Yeah, exactly. So as as always, I'm, of course, Andrew Barczyk from Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm Danny Miller from Binghamton, New York, talking about no theme park chain in particular.
Right on, Ride Warriors.
See you guys. Thanks.